Jumping Around's Fly Box. Today we're going to tie one of the easiest patterns you'll ever find. It's the McFLYFOAM single egg pattern. It's a material that makes single egg patterns easier than you ever thought possible. And it's too easy to ignore, pretty much. So I'm going to show you how to tie it. This isn't my pattern. This isn't the method that I designed or anything like that. This is a method I was shown. It's pretty much standard for using this material. I start out with a size hook where the gape is the size of the egg that I want, or approximate size of the egg. This is a size 14 caddis emerger. You can tie a caddis emerger or a scud. And I use fluorescent orange UTC 70 thread. I like the slippery properties of this thread. It works perfect for this egg. I can't stand the thread, to be quite honest with you, for tying, because it grabs my fingers. If you got rougher fingers, it's terrible for grabbing your hands. But for this pattern, it's probably the best the best thread I've found. I start out with apricot McFLYFOAM. And I take it comes in sections, kind of like little rows. And I use a row that's about the size of the gape, again about the size of the egg. I cut it about 6 inches, and then I fold it in half, and I cut it at the loop. And then I fold it in half again, and I cut it at the loop. What that's going to do, it's going to give you 2 sections of 2 pieces, or 2 sections of 2 strands each. They're going to be about 1.5 inches long. And then my center, my yoke, is steelhead orange in the same material, and it's pre-cut. It's about the same size, and I've already cut it to 1.5 inches. What you're going to do first is you're going to take your first 2 sections. You're going to separate them a little bit. You're going to slide them around your thread, and you're going to put them under the shank. And kind of center them. They'll stay right like that because they grab everything. This yarn is famous for it. You'll have it all over your tying bench. Then I'm going to take the other 2 sections, separate them again. I'm going to lay them on top around the hook. So they're basically, you have 2 on either side. And then keeping them where I want them, I'm going to lay my yoke sack strand on top. And kind of manipulate them and get them in a grip centered on your shank where you want them. But in that same order. And you're going to put 1 loose wrap around the hook. Get it where you want. Put another one. Try and keep your thread wraps on top of each other. You don't want to break your thread. Don't pull too tight. And once I get it to where I want it, I put about 6 wraps right on top of each other. Right there. That's going to be the base of the pattern. Next, you're going to take your center one and pull it forward. Your center orange. You're going to take your 2 that's on the near side and your 2 that's on the far side. You're going to sweep it all to the front. Not too tight, but tight enough. And you're going to put 3 or 4 wraps behind. You're going to lock that foam in place. Don't be exact. Just keep it. It's just going to help it stop spinning. Then you're going to bring your foam back. Bring your sides back in place. And you're going to do the same thing to the front. Bring your centerpiece, your yoke to the rear. Bring your 2 strands to that are on the near side back. And your 2 strands on the front side back. Do the same thing. Sweep them back. And then lock them in place in the front. And then you're going to build up a little bit of a head here. And you're going to whip finish. And then trim your thread. At this point, you're going to bring your strands, your groups of strands, back in place. And you're going to basically have your thread, your yarn or your foam in an X pattern. Both sides splayed out. Your center yoke up on top. And what you're going to do is you're going to stretch that center yoke up tight in the middle. Then one by one, keeping them in the same order that they are, an arrangement as they are, pull each group up alongside of it. If you get a little off, it doesn't ruin the fly. But I've found that you get a little bit better, more symmetrical pattern if you pull them up even with each other and in the right order. And then while they're pulled tight, you're going to come in and with the base of your scissors, you're going to cut about the size of the egg that you want. It'll pop into almost a perfect circle. And then just fluff it. Just touch it up with your fingers a little bit. And you'll see it'll pretty much be perfect. Now usually I'll end up with one tuft, and I think it's because of the way I cut. I'll end up with a tuft at the bottom. It's a little bit out of round. It's like a little runner. And I trim it. And that's it. You'll get the perfect yolk sac with that orange in the center and a perfect egg. Manipulate the size of the yarn and the size of the hook to exactly how you want it. But there it is. The McFLYFOAM egg. Single egg. Apricot and steelhead orange. It is by far the most effective egg that I fish here in the Northeast. I carry dozens of these around. They've saved my day more than anything. Very effective pattern. Very easy material to work with. Hope it adds to your box. Thank you.